girl and the boy.
All right, praise the Lord. That's right. I forgot about your son. But thank God that he's growing and still growing. Amen. His father is here. And we thank God for his guest. At this time, Brother Jay.
Amen. First off, I want to thank God for being here. Second off, I want to thank the leaders for giving me the opportunity to speak for my first time. I'm just going to start off with a quick prayer. Father God, I just thank you, Lord, for those that came out tonight, Father God. That, Lord, this testimony, Father God, will reach them, God. Give me the glory to glorify you as you did as your son, Jesus, Father God. In the name of Jesus, God. I break and I bind every assignment that we try to go against this message, God. That this message will get forth, God, and it will encourage someone, Father God, to move on. In Jesus' mighty name, I pray. You ever often ask yourself, why am I here? What is my purpose? I used to ask myself that every time. I just remember myself, just being young. My dad would always read comic books, You would just find superheroes, One superhero grabbed my attention. His name was Superman. It was somebody I could relate to during his trials when he was young. He was sent off to another planet, which is called Earth, but he was from a planet called Krypton. The planet that was called Krypton was just a planet that was being destroyed. Now his family, his mom and dad wanted to send him off somewhere else so he would be protected into being in good hands. So can we just thank God for, we being here and that we're in his hands?
Yes, indeed.
Let me get into this. Now the family had found him in a spaceship, They took him in as his own because he was still formed like a human formed baby. And as they watched him grow, they took care of him. They showed him things. They showed him love as if he was a regular human being. And as him being a human being, he was searching love in his mom and his dad, which he thought that was his mom and dad. As he got older into his teenage years, he went to high school. He started noticing something different about him, that he was not like other kids, that he had power, he had strength, he had ability to see, X-ray vision, strength, speed. He was just wanting to know, like, why am I not like the other kids? And his parents had to confess and let him know that you're not from here, you're from another planet. And by him noticing that, it kind of messed him up because now he went to search of who he really was and why did his parents send him here, his real parents. And as he got older as an adult man, he ended up finding his parents, a ship that was on Earth that he didn't know his parents had, found it in ice. As he entered the ship, his dad appeared in a hologram, and he told him, who he was to him. He wanted to find out his purpose and why was he here? Why did he do this? Why did he have strength? He wanted to ask questions. Why am I here? And his father said, well, son, our planet was, being destroyed. We had to send you because we love you so much. We had to send you here. But we see that people on Earth needed you here to save them, to protect them. So I can relate the story also when I got closer to God, when I got closer to Jesus. Like, I noticed that he probably asked himself too, why am I here? But God spoke to him. And it's like, once you actually hear your Father's voice and you know your purpose, it's like, I have no excuse now. I know what I can do. Like, we can just go ahead and if you can put Luke 10:19, I believe, what God had gave us, and we can all read it also. We can all read it.
Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions,
and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you.
Now reading this, I was just like, wow, God, you gave us power here also, but you gave us supernatural power. Yes. You gave us your word. You gave us your son that died for us, that cared for us, that loved for us. And I can relate with Orisha was talking about, just you have to learn this thing, while walking in this life, about learning how to forgive and just move on and living this life as a Christian, you're not perfect. You're going to go through things. You're going to go through trials. You're going to go through tribulations. But God just showed me also in his word, well, also, if you can encourage someone, if you can tell someone that I'm a walking word. Go ahead.
I'm a walking word.
Why, you may ask me why I'm saying that, because in Jeremiah 1:12, what did the Lord say?
It said
Then said the Lord unto me, Thou hast well seen, for I will hasten my word to perform it.
This is why I say we are his word, because why? We read the word, right? But he said also in his word, which is in, I believe in Genesis, the first thing God, what he was talking about. What is it? About the image, his image. Genesis, give me 1 second.
Take your time.
Okay. I went too fast. Philippians 1:6. And if I can get it in the app.
Okay. 1 and 6. Amplified. There you go.
And I am convinced and sure of this very thing, that he who began a good work in
Stop
you.
right there. Just repeat that again. He who
And
what?
Began
Yeah,
good
good
work
work.
In you.
Tell someone there's still good work in them.
There's still good work in you, little
Just
dancer.
encourage them. Say there's still good work in them.
Good work.
That God is not finished with me.
God's not finished with me.
Jeremiah 1, what is that? What did I
That's
have?
Philippians.
Okay, finish that.
And you will continue until the day of
Jesus Christ, right up to the time of his return.
Developing that good work and perfecting and bringing it to full completion.
In you.
In you.
Who? And who?
You.
Okay. Jeremiah 1:12. Regular.
Amplified.
Regular.
King James. Then
Then said the Lord unto me, Thou hast well seen, for I will hasten my words to perform it.
The word. He performed what?
It.
So obviously he already spoke a word, right? In the beginning, he said, I have made men in my image. And when I was getting to just get closer and closer, to God, I was just, searching on my own, just like Superman searching and having these questions that need to be answered. I was just asking myself, like, why am I here? And God showed me, he said, I belong to him. I belong to him, and I'm out here to fulfill what he told me to do. To win souls, to encourage someone, to empower someone, not to put no one down, because I've been down in that road.
All right.
But God told me I belong to him, and also he belonged to you. I mean, you belong to him. Give me a second.
Amen.
Thank you.
And like Orisha was talking about in 1 John, I believe it was, 1 John 4:3-4, Amplified version, if we can all read that, also.
And every spirit which does not acknowledge and confess that
Jesus Christ has come in the flesh, but would annul, destroy, sever, disunite him,
is not of God, does not proceed from him. This unconfession is the spirit of the Antichrist, of which you heard that it was coming, and now it is already in the world.
Skip down to 4, I'm sorry. This is God talking to us.
Little children, you are of God. You belong to him, and have already defeated and overcome them, the agents of the Antichrist, because he who lives in you is greater, mightier than who is in the world.
Now, just hearing what Orisha said, greater is he that is within me. Greater is he that's within me. God is so big that he made himself so little to be in me. So obviously God saw something in me, just like Superman dad saw something in him. He knew what his purpose was. You just had to tell him. And he had to be ready to listen. That's why our problem sometimes. We're not ready to listen sometimes. We want to get ahead of God. And I've been in that role. I got ahead of God and didn't get me nowhere.
All right.
Now, I didn't know this stuff when I was in the world. I wasn't always saved. I wasn't in my word. I was doing what the devil wanted me to do. Being about his business, getting tattoos. The reason why I got tattoos now is because I was teased as a little kid. My dad can tell you, as a little kid with my skin being bad, I wanted to find something to cover because I wasn't like the other kids, like their skin was smooth and everything. But God had to show me in his word, like, I love you for who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to cover yourself. You didn't have to impress yourself. You didn't have to try to blend in with the world. But at the time, I still was not ready to hear God. I was worried about being in my comfort zone of worshiping the devil and his music, going hard for him, and always, doing things that I know I wasn't supposed to do. Going out at the parties, going out to skating rings, just anything that was worshiping the devil. I was never really in God as like I was wanting to. I was in that lukewarm position. That lukewarm position where I had one foot in and one foot out. I was trying to serve God for a second, then I got off track and went right back to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to also make an image of myself. Image of myself when God said I am his image. I was trying to step out of him. But like I said, I was not leading into anything but to farther and farther to death. Now I noticed, I learned this the other day about what the flesh is, what flesh led is. Give me a second. The word which is in Romans 8:3. It's not what we see, this flesh. It's what the word said. The man nature without the Holy Spirit is that flesh. Your mind, your will, and your emotions. The things that are leading you from God.
That's right.
And also, we can read right here. Actually, can I get the Amplified version? Sorry. And we can all read.
For God has done what the law could not do, its power being weakened by the flesh.
By the what?
By the flesh.
Continue.
The entire nature of man without the Holy Spirit,
Exactly what I just said. Keep going.
sending his own Son in the guise of sinful flesh and as an offering of sin, God condemned sin in the flesh, subdued, overcame, deprived it of its power over all who accept that sacrifice.
The power.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Now, I learned this also, that there is no peace outside of God. When I was in the world, I really didn't have peace. I really just relied on certain things and what I felt that was right, that really was wrong. It's just a thing like, you do things that your parents tell you, take out the trash. That was no big deal, but it was certain things that you knew you was supposed to do, but you still was doing it. Just like Arisha was saying. You knew the things that, you're not supposed to do, but you still did it anyway. And also, this is what I meant by, I was actually trying to find my own image by watching TV, watching sports, watching videos that I wasn't supposed to be watching, rap videos, or trying to idolize someone. But God said, which is in Leviticus, do I pronounce it? 26:1. How God feels about when you idol something else before him, when you put something before him.
It's not 26 or 126.
Give me one. It's 26:1. Leviticus, my bad, sorry, 26:1.
Oh, no.
Read.
You shall
You
make
shall make
yourself
yourselves no idols, nor shall you erect a graven image, nor nor shall you place anything stone in your land to which or on which to bow down. For I am the Lord your God.
He's my God. He's our God. And I had to learn that he's my God, that I don't have to put nothing before him. If I put something before him, knowing that we serve a jealous God, God would get angry at that. He would take that away because why? He sent his son for us. That his real love, like Arisha was talking about, his love that covers everything. And a quick little definition of idol, it's a noun, an image of representation of a God used as an object of worship, which, like I was saying, when I said I was trying to make an image of myself, I was trying to fix my own self. But God showed me it's not my job to fix myself. It was his job to fix me.
That's right.
As long as I hold on to that, sin will always be an option. But when I let God have his way and take it away from me, then sin will no longer have a say in my life.
That's right.
Amen.
Take a look at Genesis 1:27, which what I was trying to find, I'm sorry, about what I said about the image. We can all read that once again.
So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him.
So we're supposed to be the very image of Christ. The very image of Christ. They're supposed to be what God put in us, what he wants out of us. That we always say this saying in the world, and I always hear this too at work. We're all waiting on God. But the funny thing is, being taught here, God is waiting on us. Waiting on us to give the glory, giving the glory. Waiting on wanting us to submit to him. Like my parents were always taught, submit yourself to him. Surrender. I found myself in that wrestling match just like Jacob with God to get his new covenant name. Like I said, from being in the world, having to wrestle, being in that lukewarm position where it would just get so numb. Like 1 minute, I know I have a purpose in God, but then I keep running away from it. I keep running away. I keep wrestling with God with it. I keep not wanting to submit to him. I keep wanting to do me, which is what the flesh is. Flesh wants to be all about itself.
That's right. It is selfish.
Now I'm just going to go brief about my testimony. Now the day I got shot was October 24th, 2008 in Compton, California. See where I was kind of a little bit raised at. One day I had a dream. Now I remember telling my dad this, my wife this. I had a dream. This is when God called me. This is when I know it was real. I had a dream that I was saving my brother from being shot. I woke up out of that dream, and I woke up. I looked around my bed. I felt a bad Charlie horse on my leg, and it felt like if the Lord's hand was on my leg. I heard deep voices saying, "You will live." But during that previous day, October 24th, I can remember I was laughing and joking around with my brothers and sisters. But it got late one night, and I had to walk my stepsister home with my neighbor. By the time we got to the house, and me and my neighbor was getting ready to leave from walking her from her house, I saw two guys coming up. My instincts just pushed my stepsister down and my neighbor down. I pushed them out of harm's way. There was two guys with guns shooting the whole house because I didn't know my stepdad had that reputation. They knew his house. They shot up the whole house. But if it wasn't for God having the truck in front of me, I would not be here standing today. So I thank God I'm a living sacrifice. But it gets deeper into that. I didn't know I was shot until I got up. Bullets was flying everywhere, ricocheting, hit me in the ear, hit me in the neck, hit me in the back.
Whoa.
As I was on the ground, all I can remember is my ear ringing. And by the time they were done shooting, I got up. I didn't feel anything. My sisters looked at me. My sister and my neighbor looked at me. She said, "You shot. I said, "No, I'm not." I didn't feel anything at all. And as I noticed, I just felt a big puddle of blood on my shoulder. I looked. I'm like, okay, all right, well, let's head to the back. We head to the back. My body gave out on me. By the time it gave out on me, I just noticed that I was in a whole puddle of blood. And I can just remember God told me that morning, in the middle of my sleep, that I would live from it.
All right.
And I was like, God, like, why? Like, why did this happen to me? And this is what I kept asking myself, why? Why did I get shot? Why did this happen to me? Why am I here today? And God said, like he said, he began a good work in me. There's still good work in me. He's not finished with me. He's not finished with nobody. He's not finished with anybody that's in this room. Because we still got purpose and things that we still got to get done on this earth until the coming of Jesus.
That's right.
But as I was in the hospital, well, let me rewind it. As a young black man, I remember Mother Perkins said I was marked as a young black man because of who I am. As I'm on the floor in my own blood, the first person that appeared was a police officer. They asked you these questions. They assume you gangbang. They ask you, where are you from? Do you have any enemies? Or they ask me all these questions, but in my mind, I'm like, where's the ambulance at? Where's the paramedics? Why am I still on this ground? I should be in the paramedics. I should be in the hospital by now. Yeah. But it was by the grace of God still keeping me alive, even though through those questions. By the time the paramedics came, I just was like, wow, okay, I'm here, God, I'm here. I got in the hospital, you know, I was in the hospital for only 3 days. And I was, in my mind, I'm like, that's not long enough. But God said, what did I tell you about the temple, what I will do in 3 days? I will rise it. And seeing that we are the temple, he rose me in that 3rd day because I was not ready to get out that bed. God sent my dad to get me out that hospital, even though I didn't want to get up, but he got me up. And I began to have strength by the time I got up because I was weak from all the medicine and medication that they gave me. And I had caught little fevers and everything. I'm asking for a wheelchair. God said, you don't need a wheelchair, you can walk. So they gave me some crutches, but I was able to walk just a little bit. After that, I got home and I can just look at myself in the mirror. And I just saw all this paleness. My skin color was just white and pale. My lips was peeled. I was just looking at myself like, man, I could have been dead right now. I could have been gone right now. You know, and it kind of hurt me because at the time, my mother and father was going through a divorce. And my dad we was getting ready to move. My dad don't know this. He had to go to work, he had to take care of business. I was just home by myself in the dark. And I was isolating myself, giving my ear to the enemy. He was telling me, you should go retaliate. You should go kill someone. Go kill that person that shot you. Doing all those things. But God told me, he said, no, that ain't what I want you to do. Forgive yourself and forgive that person that done that. Because in the Bible, I believe it was in Matthew when Jesus talked, he's talking. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Okay, Matthew 5:44. We can all read.
I say unto you,
Love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you.
I had to pray for the one that shot me because I knew he was in his right mind. I knew he was pressured. He gave the enemy his ear, and he allowed the enemy to take over his body to do what he knew he shouldn't have done. So I had to forgive God. I had to forgive myself, not to isolate myself no more. Being shot though, it can really change your mind. It can really change your whole life around.
I know you're right.
Like I was saying, I was at home. I was just numb, paranoid. I couldn't trust nobody. I didn't want to go outside. I couldn't be around loud music because my ear was still in healing. I couldn't be outside. I didn't even want to go outside. But it was just that the point was, I remember speaking to my testimony to David, and he told me, he said, but that was the enemy trying to destroy your purpose and what God had in you, but God still kept you. So I couldn't understand it until I got more mature in God, which is why I'm here today. I thank God for being here. I thank God I'm alive. Give me 1 second. One day I just found myself reading the Word for the first time. Well, not for the first time, but just to see what God really said to me in confirmation. John 4:49. No, actually, just John 4:50. New International Version, if you have that.
Then Jesus told him, go back
Hold
home.
on, wait.
That's New Living.
New Living.
Which one do you want?
This new,
International.
NIV.
Jesus replied, you may go. Your son will live.
wait, 49, I'm sorry.
Said, sir, come down before my child dies.
Right there. When I got shot, I can hear my dad prayers. I heard exactly how that man just asked Jesus to save his son. I heard my grandmother. I heard everybody prayers in the midst of me being shot. Continue.
Jesus replied, you may go, your son will
Stop
live.
right there. I just told you in the beginning when God said in the midst when he woke me out of my dream that I would live. I'm here. I'm here. And it's a great thing that I can tell my testimony because I can show you how what God, I always often tell my coworkers what God done for me and that he is real. Because when I was shot in the ear, all this was gone. Now look what God did to me. Look what God did to me. Hallelujah. My ear is healed. It don't look like I was shot at all.
No, it don't.
Shot in the head, shot to the shoulder, shot in the back.
That's God.
God proved himself to me. As he proved himself to me, I asked God, keep me closer to you. Don't let me go back into the world.
Thank you.
Don't let me do those things that I know that's going to upset my parents. Don't let me do those things that's going to upset my wife. Don't let me do those things that's going to upset my kids. Don't let me do those things that I know that I shouldn't do. God, keep me, even when I can't keep myself. I had to, like I said, I had to forgive that person that shot me.
That's right.
Because I couldn't have that junk that Mother Perkins always say, get that junk out your heart. I was carrying that. I was rehearsing hurt. I was rehearsing hurt every day. Or what I could have done to that person, but God kept saying, no, let it go. Let it go.
That's God.
Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. In Hebrews 3:15, when I read this, an amplified version, I'm sorry. We can already read.
Then while it is still called today, if you would hear his voice, and when you hear it, do not harden your hearts as in rebellion. In the desert, when the people provoked and irritated and embittered God against them.
I had to make sure that my heart, my ears, and everything was ready to always receive what God wanted me to.
All right.
I had to be ready. I couldn't be scared. I had to be ready. Because if I heard his word, if I heard his voice the first time, like the Bible said in Revelation, he left me without excuse. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse in none of us. He said he left no excuse. But I'm going to say a few things and I'm almost done. It took God's love, his word, to transform me, to restore me, to keep me, to deliver me from the world. The Lord showed me the reason why he did what he didn't want me to go into the world. John 15, I want to say 18 through 19, NIV.
If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first.
19 up there?
If you belong to
18 through 19, I said.
She read 18.
Oh, 19, I'm sorry.
If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own.
As it is.
You do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. That is why the world hates you.
I know that's right.
I thank God why he, I see that sometimes, like Arisha said, people see the name Christian, they want to make you feel like, they want to think that you're perfect, but you're not. It's you striving to being where your Father wants you to be. It's not about being perfect, because the perfect one lives in us. He lives in us. We're not perfect, but the perfect one lives in us. That's why we're breathing today. In Jeremiah 1:5, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you and approved of you as my chosen instrument. And before you were born, I consecrated you to myself as my own. I have appointed you as a prophet to the nation. Reading that just let me know God already knew my future. God already knew what was all going to happen.
That's right.
What was all going to be, what I was all going to go through. It's just like she said, it's not our job to worry. And he even said it so. It's not our job to worry. It's not our job to worry about what we're going to wear. It's not our job to worry about what we're going to eat, what we're going to put on, how we're going to do this. But like Mother Perkins always says, seek first the kingdom.
That's it.
It's not our job. It's not our job to take care of us. It's God. Because he already said, I knew you. I knew you would go through this. I saw this already. Guess what? The new news is old news to me.
Hallelujah.
You got a new car that was old to me. I had to wait till you get matured enough to take care of responsibility. You got an apartment now. I had to wait till you got matured enough to take care of rent, of bills. But it's still that I still supply your needs. Don't forget that.
That's it.
Amen.
And I thank God for that. And I often heard Orisha's testimony about how God will always come through for her. And always, Mother Perkins, she said when you get those bills, you just thank God for already just paying them. Because you just taking your faith in God. The faith is not in your work, your faith is in God.
That's right.
Last scripture. Two more scripture and then I'll be done. John 10:3. I want to say NIV too also.
Watch opens the gate for him, and the sheep listen to his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out.
Let's thank God for hearing his voice. That we belong to him.
Amen.
And only him. Because without hearing his voice, I could have been in rock bottom. I could have been going through hell. And I just thank God for that. I did hear his voice. And I was being obedient. And I always hear, that being said, obedience is better than sacrifice.
It's the word.
And just growing up and you have your parents and you also listening to them without complaining, it just shows that you aren't responsible for these things that if your parents tell you to do something, you do it. Just like if you hear God tell you to do something, just do it. Now I understand why God commanded me to love others as he loves me. He so loved in me, so he can reap the harvest of compassion, forgiveness, and patience for my life and for others. Who I am to God is a fixed and settled position, non-negotiable and not adjustable. It doesn't change. Now I must deal with everything from that perspective. I'm just going to give you a quick, one more thing. I know this is a blessing. I know my grandmother's up there happy. My grandmother passed away. This woman I always talked to, my dad's mom. This woman knew me better than my own parents. Yeah. In the midst of my dream, I had a dream of her a couple of days after she died. She had all white. And she drives her own. She was always, when she was here, she was driving her own truck. She had a white Escalade, or cream-colored Escalade. But the difference was she was sitting in the back seat and she had a surfer. She had all white with a white hat, like if she was already going to Sunday school. She told me to get in her car, and I got in. She told me just like this. She said, JJ, don't ever be afraid to speak the word. And here I am today speaking what she told me in my dream.
Hallelujah.
I never thought of that. When I was in the world, I didn't know what she was talking.
Well.
I learned a lot when I first came here. My prayer life got stronger. I learned that obedience is better than sacrifice. That I have power of life and death in my own tongue. I learned how to trust the Lord. I learned that God didn't give me a spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind.
That's it.
If God didn't give me a fear, then I don't have to accept no fear.
No.
Hearing Mother Perkins' testimony is just, it made me better. It made me know it was hope coming. It made me know that I had a purpose. It made me know that God did exist. Although going through my testimony, he still showed himself and proved himself, but coming here was also an answered prayer. Because I can remember I was on my knees and I told God, I said, I don't want to be in no more religious church. I need to get to know and get closer to you. Because I was going to churches, but the word wasn't being in me. I would hear it, but my ear would be dubbed to it. And when I first got here, God heard that prayer of where I am today. I learned how to pray. I learned how to speak healing over someone, speak life into someone.
Amen.
Speak over my kids. Speaking over a lot of things. Knowing how to pray before you do anything. Knowing how to acknowledge God before you do anything. It's just like if you had your parents, you had to acknowledge them before you can even go outside. You have to ask them, but God is like, you're still my kid. So why you can't ask me before you do these things? And my person always say, your peace is better than any argument. And I can witness to that because my peace has always been good to me. Like it's always been mellow. Like when I'm hearing that, your peace is better than any argument, it keeps your soul line, it keeps you right. You don't have to get off track so much. You can just be patient enough with people, and just know how to avoid the fact to get through that. You know you got to make it in. You know you want to make it in. You have to have a made-up mind to make it in. And I thank God for that made-up mind where I am today, that I'd rather serve Him than serve the devil that's in this world. And I thank God for that. I thank God for each and one of you guys. You know, it became another family to me, a spiritual family to me. Although I have my dad, he taught me the word as much as he could, my mom as well, my stepmom, I just still thank God for where I am today. Amen. That I couldn't do none of this without God. And let's just give God a hand.